Do me a favor, family. Um, support, sub, follow everything. ldbc, Trilitary, twt, Simple Truth Network, my OGs, OG Loco, that's Carno Loco Sports TV, um, OGK Ho, that's Black Fight Fan TV, The General, of course, everybody's OG, 7-8 Sports TV, um, the usual suspects, the usual suspects. Support the usual suspects 6 shop usual suspects 6.com. Get you some merch from each individual usual suspect. They're my brothers, they're amazing individuals. Support the usual suspects. Um, Also, support my little brother Black Sun on IG and YouTube, and check out my other two channels, HFO Church and Acting Right TV. There are three ways to support the channel, everybody. There are three ways to support the channel, family. Way number one, shop usualsuspect6.com. Way number one, shop usualsuspect6.com. Get you some combat tool bag merch. We have warm weather gear, we have cool weather gear. Get you some combat tool bag merch. Again, shop usualsuspect.com. Way number two, we have a 4 book series on entry level financial literacy. Um, Available on Amazon.com called the Hustle God series. Please support, please support. You'll find Hustle God's Linguistics of Money, the language of the 1%. You'll find Hustle God Masterpiece, Daily Golden Mind Molding. You'll find Hustle God Afro Gold Part 1. And you'll also find Hustle God Art of the Hustle. Last and final, third and final way to support the channel is you could sponsor an athlete creator by donating to the Cash App. Um, any and everything goes a long way anytime. Uh, the cash tag is money sign Hustle God Inc. Money sign Hustle God Inc. Those are the three ways to support the channel, family. And it is time to cook. Wow, what's cracking with y'all? It's your boy Prince the Hustle Guy, aka Wise the Warlock, aka Michelangelo the Madman. You reaching in your combat tool bag one more again. It is a cool black affair. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. LDBC only, LDBC or nothing, LDBC everywhere. LDBC versus everybody. You know how we coming? Guys, it is New Year's Eve. We are on our way into a new year. Let's leave all of the BS behind. We got some big things to expect for ourselves from this sport, from life in general, and this is the holiday of evolution. So again, this is the boxing and the boxing breakdown. Excuse me, episode 5. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for stopping by. So, Big Texas was cracking with you, cuz welcome. Appreciate you stopping by, family, and happy New Year. Um, yeah, I'm just getting started. Just got through the home keeping items, and we about to dive into the topics. I'll give y'all a heads up on what to expect. D Man Jr., my look, Big Blue was cracking with you, cuz welcome, happy New Year. So what to expect for today's on today's agenda to wrap up this year? You could expect us to talk about the KO of the year. I don't think I got that on my last of the year or boxing and breakdown live. So we got KO of the year here. We got the robbery of the year, and we got liar of the year. So if you guys have checked out my community page, you already know the spoiled aspect of that. But yeah, so we got that to look forward to. We got a parallel between lightweight and 147 to draw. We got Andre's interview and his intentions over at Showtime. We also got Keyshawn Davis and his reaction to the fans and world's reaction to Kid Austin. And then we're gonna cover some aspects of the Clarissa Shields live that she did. But welcome everybody. Appreciate y'all stopping by. Appreciate y'all stopping by. Um, we'll dive in first with. Let's start with Clarissa Shields. It should take us in a good little order here. So Clarissa Shields, the quote after having her uh, probably her greatest year this year in boxing. Actually, before I even do that, let me say this. Um, I had a wonderful year last year. Guys, I appreciate everyone's support, everyone's support going into the two bouts I had last year, and even more so, everyone's support coming out of the two bouts last year. Expect a bigger, better year this year. New approved me, the real me. I'm gonna be something different, and I'll really leave it at that. I've been working behind the scenes, and I'm happy on what I'm going to be able to present y'all. Uh, so definitely expect smarter, stronger, swifter, slicker, um, and yeah. So let's talk. Let's talk some real pop and boxing. So Clarissa Shields, in her live, she addressed the fact that people are trying to again pin her against other female names to try to demean one to big up the other, as opposed to bigging up the women collectively, or just stating why Clarissa Shields is a cut above the rest, or why she stands on her own as a great athlete. And she hinted on some great points there. So I wanted to talk about that briefly, because she's my fighter of the year for 2022, and she's three times undisputed. She's self-proclaimed and then proven to be the GOAT, um, if not the GOAT right now in boxing. Period. And and yet she's still fighting just for media outlets to mention her without trying to down Katie Taylor, or trying to down Amanda Serrano, or trying to down um, any of the names out there. When she first came into the scene and start stepping on stuff and stepping on ish. What time is it? Yeah, thank you. It's past three minutes in, so I can talk. So when she came in the game and started stepping on shit, it was like they were trying to pin her name up against um, Layla Ali, and the judge act Reacher. What's cracking with you, cuzzo? Welcome. Appreciate your support, and and don't tell the people too much, because I think you already caught on to what I'm working on this year, just by your comment. So thank you for stopping by, and welcome. This is the boxing breakdown, episode 5. Um, but yeah, she's done enough. Just to get back to the point, she's done enough for her name to be mentioned um, in her own articles, and pushing women's boxing forward uh, alone in a vacuum. Just Clarissa Shields, her name alone, because of the work that she put in. And when she came in the game, they were gonna tie her name to Layla Ali, or tie her name to the the champion at 147 at the time, who ended up taking a loss. Her name is escaping me right now. And now they're tying her name to Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, and it's like their events were amazing events for this year. Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor, Clarissa Shields versus uh, uh, Savannah Marshall. They were amazing events to stand on their own. They need their own publicity and their own coverage without being tied to one or the other, or uh, having to diminish one performance or to big up the other, or vice versa. It just doesn't make sense. And for her to still be in a place to not be bitter about it, and to take subliminal shots, or to say F these girls, they ain't did so and so and so, they ain't got 2-time gold medals, they ain't this many times undisputed. It shows the level of human being she is. When we use the phrase it's time to man up, or be a man, or be the bigger man, she's more of a man than a lot of the guys have displayed and I mean the guys we see here in boxing, which is why man or woman, she's my fighter of the year, becoming 3 times undisputed and doing it on foreign soil against the bigger fighter, who we recently found out was 190 plus, almost 200 pounds in a super middleweight fight, like a woman's super middleweight fight at that. So come on, man, like Clarissa Shields, I wanted to address this live to state that Clarissa Shields is not only the GOAT, is not only the fighter of the year, but it's obviously deserving of her own coverage exclusively without being linked to any other fighter out there. You don't need to mention any other fighter when mention Clarissa Shields' name. Her name carries enough weight for whatever clickbait or attention you want on your articles. You don't have to try to state why she's pound for pound and not Katie Taylor, or why she's pound for pound and not Amanda Serrano. Because if we're comparing the activity of the women in 2022 to the men in 2022, and overall we had a great year, but we're talking about the big fight. We got more of those big name cachet fights from the women actually matching up than we did from the guys. Just off top of the head, Clarissa Shields versus Savannah Marshall, UK, United States, big names. Though one was built off of Clarissa Shields. Alicia Baumgartner versus Michaela Mayer. We have Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor. The the list goes on. Natasha Jonas for and her unification versus the other young lady. We had McCaskill versus Cameron. You know, for I think it was undisputed or unification. Like what what are we missing here? We had essentially all of the big names that we know in female boxing fighting for unifications or undisputed this year. And in the guys sport, we had months of lobbying or posing and positioning about money or about whatever else is going on, but not actually what matters to us, which is what we got from the ladies. So that said, thank you, Krista Shields, for what you've given boxing and combat sports overall this year in 2022. Moving on to the next topic, we have Mauricio Suleiman trying to introduce trans boxing men, men transitioning into women, and women transitioning into men in their own in their own division in boxing, and introducing this idea. I'm 100% with the OGs. Introducing this idea into boxing is not only like madness, like almost suicide. Like it's inevitably. I mean, it's inevitable that there's going to be so much negative backlash on the WBC that it was more than foolish. It was a damning move to begin with. So when you think you're going to try to, like the OG said, take people who are transitioning from one category to another category and try to put them in a subcategory and have them fight for our entertainment, when they don't want to be put in a subcategory to begin with, they're going to take that as you're trying to make a spectacle out of what they're doing. Like you're trying to make a sideshow or a carnival out of what they're doing. They're going to feel like the ones transitioning into women, what, I'm not good enough to be a woman. And the ones transitioning into a man, what, I'm not good enough to be a man, to be considered that box. And then you're going to have the WBC in turn have to make a statement, or not just a statement, but rules, essentially categorizing what makes a man or what makes a woman and what makes you in between. And that is a line in politics that I don't think you want to play in the hypersensitive world that we live in today. Uh, so very, very, very bizarre. My low. that I cut my dick off boxing shit is gonna be fucked up. Hey, bro, on everything, on Cuzzo, bro. Like, I don't know what the guy was thinking because just as I laid out for y'all, it's gonna have adverse effects immediately. Like, it's already having adverse effects, and he hasn't even introduced the first bout for rankings or title contention. So that said, it's the makings, the literally the definition or incarnation of a recipe for disaster. So that said, WBC, you've officially, I'd say, lower yourself even more than you already have been doing, which we didn't think was possible. But the WBO, the WBA, the WBC, we need as in 2023, if I could ask for something from boxing, we need some sort of vindication as boxing patrons and as boxing fans from those three organizations, whether it's them being penalized for their monopoliz- monopolization of the sport, if that's a word, but them each creating their own monopolies to feed off of, and in turn getting in the way of major unifications and major fights, which um, all all of the sanctioning bodies said unifications trump mandatories. So it just seems evident um, year after year that we're getting the result of a monopoly in payola. Literally, whoever provides the bag to my sanctioning body, hint hint WBA, you can get high rankings, or you can contend for a belt, or you can sit out for 3 years while holding a belt. Meanwhile, Charlo gets injured, and you're immediately trying to strip an undisputed champion of one of his titles. So we need to see some type of reining in of this corruption, or some type of some just some type of vindication. We need some correction to happen, or we need fighters, athletes, the promoters, the managers, the handlers. We need everyone to collectively focus on the IBF or focus on their own route, because this is all starting to turn into some bullshit. D-Lo, um, no real boxing fan will support that shit. Suleiman trying to create uh, Suleiman trying to create money, ain't it? Like, yeah, I mean, I think the people that will support him are the like sus people to begin with, or people who are leeches on to literally opportunists, people trying to get any way in the door. Shit, I'll do it if it got a bag, or shit, I'll do it if this, that, and the third. So you got those people who will compromise their morals and their ethics, or I wouldn't even say their morals and their ethics, but compromise their character, who they identify as, or their beliefs for a bag. You feel me? That's not very uncommon these days. So, yeah, that said, a recipe for disaster is what I think. And shame on Suleiman. And agreed, Lo. Like, shame on Suleiman. I think he's doing it essentially for a bag grab. He's doing it to be included so that he's not eliminated from any sort of way to make money. So and also he doesn't want to be late to the table. So he thinks if I be first, then I definitely can't be last. That said, let's get off this topic. It's a weird topic. I didn't even want to discuss it on my platform entirely. Keyshawn Davis and Kid Austin. Let's talk some young dude, some young boy boxing, some, you know what I mean, some prospect boxing, if you will. So Kid Austin has been calling out Keyshawn Davis for some time now. Keyshawn Davis has been talking crazy about the 135 division as a whole, and then hiding behind being 6-0, and but ignoring Kid Austin entirely. And the OG Black Fight fan, he brought it to our attention that Kid has been calling out Kid Austin. I mean, Kid has been calling out Keyshawn for some time now, like a while now, like not once or twice, but he's been calling him out for a minute, and been wanting that smoke, and has already sparred the likes of uh, all of the top names: Shakur, Devin, Tank, all of those guys. Um, and he's understanding that he's not going to get from where his standing is right now in the rankings. He's not going to get an immediate title shot with Devin Haney, seeing as Frank Martin just won a title eliminator. You know, there's someone right there to fight for a title against Devin Haney, as well as his current ranking position doesn't provide him the luxury to just shoot for a title shot unless it's a voluntary. And even then, I don't think he's top 10 yet. But that said, he said he's willing to fight a prospect. He's willing to fight someone his level. And that someone his level is one of the loudest people we've seen in these streets. And he tapped into Trill Boxing Talk and was essentially very candid about his openness to fight any and everybody, and especially Keyshawn Davis. And right after that, Keyshawn Davis felt like it'd be cute to just go live and try his best not to mention the guy's name. So knowing me, I hopped on this live, and just a little bit about me before I say what I said about his live. Um, when when Tank was on Chris Colbert's live a few years ago, and they were talking about Oscar De La Hoya, I was the person who let him know, like, yo, on cuz, like, Oscar said Ryan is not ready yet. Chris Colbert seen that and told Tank directly because they were talking to each other via live. There's a number of things like that I jumped in and kind of like stirred the pot, or alerted a few people on. So this is one of the scenarios where a lot of us who watched the trail were in that chat letting him know, yo, fight kid, fight kid, fight kid, fight kid. And he was thinking he was too smooth on not he was thinking he was making a smooth choice by not saying his name, and that it would make him look good. And I peeped the play. Like, I mean, anybody who watched Jay Z or studied Jay Z or Hove know the play. Like, you don't give energy to anybody lesser than you unless it's worth the energy needed to eliminate a motherfucker type shit. You feel me? So he think he was playing a boss move by trying to not knowledge cuz, right? So I'm like, look, you need to fight kid, bro. You acting like you not gonna say his name is looking like you ducking. It's definitely looking dirty on you. And I just kept putting shit hitting at that. Like, look, bro, you not saying his name is looking worse than you saying you ain't gonna fight him right now and making up an excuse because all of the intention is on you. You're only going live because you heard your name being called. Literally, Black Fight fan called you out directly saying, bro, I know y'all watching. Say something, do something. And now you got everybody in your chat saying, say something, do something. So I'm letting him know you thinking you not going to say his name is making you look good. You try and dance and do all of this other lame shit in the chat. It look like it's confirming you being a duck. That as soon as I literally put my last little message hinting at that, he cut the live off instantly. And I'm like, the dude never said nothing about Kid Austin. He never responded to Kid Austin, who tapped in on the live that he didn't have to tap in on. It was doing nothing but bigging him up. Meanwhile, you got somebody who we're questioning your heart because you're saying you're this, that, and the third, and oh my God, let's beat everybody up. But then when it's time to fight a prospect, somebody who's not even considered as big of a prospect as you don't got nothing to say, and you refuse to say his name, and you cutting off lives, and you dancing and acting like a little girl and shit. But When it come to a champion who you can't fight right now, say your name. Oh, you can't say my name. Fight my big brother Shakur. Oh, you can't say my name. Fight my big brother Terrence Crawford. But then when somebody who can say your name, you you're dancing to say my name by Destiny's Child. Like, fuck wrong with these niggas nowadays. Like, but that's all I gotta say about Keyshawn. On to the next topic. 1 second. Um, PGA's Big Dog family, welcome. Salute. Happy New Year, and I appreciate you stopping by. Um, we gonna dig in a little bit to this Andre shit. Andre, he transitioned over to Showtime. I guess it's unofficially, but officially PBC. But definitely he has a deal over there with Showtime, and now Andre, when asked who like he wants to fight, what his plans are, he says his only plan is Charlo, only Charlo, and I just found that kind of funny because like my instant response is why only Charlo when there's an entire division in front of you, and you just moved up to 168 and Charlo's at 160, and then why now is my other question. Like why now? Because when you could have fought the smaller Charlo and you were in the same weight, something wasn't right. The money wasn't right. The timing wasn't right. Whatever, you ain't do it. Then you could have fought Charlo and maybe he was ducking you. Maybe, let's say that. Let's say the money was right because you had Eddie Hearn, right? But for some reason, Eddie Hearn ain't digging that bag enough to just throw a big enough bag at Charlo. But okay, it didn't happen then. So why now is the main question. I'm like, why just because you decide that or Eddie decides that you're no longer useful to him, or you're able to finesse Espinoza, or Espinoza is able to use you, whatever the case. Why should we believe now that Andre is truly going to fight Charlo? That's my question to that. And then, if hinting to that again, why it's a two-part question is why Charlo, if Charlo has not announced moving up to 168 yet. Yes, he said he'll fight David Benavidez. Yes, he's even hinted at fighting Caleb Plant, but he's not announced moving up to 168 yet. And you're actually having fights at 168. His last fight was supposed to be against Manchester Selecki at 160. So I'm confused. There's a weight mismatch, and then there's a timing thing where you're like plenty years too late, and then like which brother is it that you truly want is where I'm like thrown off about. So Andre, like, what's up? Did you come over to Showtime for the bag, and the only thing you could say is Charlo because that's the only threat you're willing to expose yourself to because shit's starting to heat up with the likes of David Morrell, David Benavidez, Caleb Plant, the people in your actual division, or even the guys that people are hinting at you ducking at 160 that I won't dare say because I don't believe it. But like, get real, get real. People don't um, change promoters for one fight. People change promoters for a layout or their future. Look at Canelo and his deals with PBC. He'll do a number. It may seem like he's doing a one off, but he's doing a number of contracts with this company in the future, making a lot of money with a lot of opponents. Same with the Zone or whoever he's hopscotching to. You know, it's not just a one and done scenario unless you're trying to be like Mikey Garcia with the Zone, and even then he gave them Vargas and um, Sandor Martin. So 1 second, guys. D-Lo, he only came for that bread. Exactly, bro. Exactly, cuz of like you already know what it is, and that's what I see it too. Like, I don't believe for a second that you over here for none of the real smoke, and that's the only name you're willing to say because that's the only name you can't, like, avoid saying after coming over there. You can't cross the street and not say you want and say you want everybody but Charlo. Like, it just doesn't work that way because then they're gonna be like, why are you over here? But then when they ask you why are you over here, you can't only say Charlo because you're not even in the guy's division and you're not making any aggressive moves to be A, in line for the title, B, to have Al Heyman send any contracts. You're not saying anything in regard to making a move in that direction besides, I want Charlo. That's it. That's all. I want Charlo. Charlo. Yeah, okay. It's me again. Yeah, okay. That guy's annoying as fuck. He be making the East Coast look bad, man. On cuz like, um, wrapping up, guys. We got two more points. One, uh, is essentially 2 points in itself, and that's KO of the year. Obviously, if you haven't heard from me, I got Wilder, Hellenius, and it's a tie. Wilder, Hellenius, and Jamel Charlo versus Brian Castano too. I'll start with the Brian Castano too. Why? Because people feel like, oh, that ain't a knockout. Knockout is it? Like it's TKO. Brian Castano wasn't like unconscious. No, it's a knockout. Brian Castano not beat the count. He got melted with a left hook. After he beat that count, um, Charlo hit him with a mean cross, a crazy body shot that literally punched him off his feet, and he could not recover. He could not stand up, and he could not beat the count. Um, and not beating the count, that is a knockout from a body shot, and that's another body shot knockout that Charlo got. And again, Charlo has knocked out his opponents with every punch, just like Spence has knocked down opponents at every range. It's just magnificent to see the skill that uh, uh, input in those guys from Derek James. So definitely that's one half of the KO of the year. And then Wilder, Robert Helenius. I mean, Wilder coming off of the hardest trilogy any man could possibly endure because it was the biggest trilogy in boxing history between obviously two of the biggest fighters, one of the heaviest fighters, um, some of the biggest numbers in boxing history, literally like the biggest trilogy in boxing history. Some of the most knockdowns you can get out of a title fight that went that way, you know. So him coming off of that and then coming back to fighting, to fighting Robert Helenius, who at the time was coming off of back-to-back victories off of Adam Kalnaki, as well as having a title mandatory, like he was like a mandatory or high-ranking contender, like number one or number two for fighting for one of the belts. So fighting for a ranking position that high, coming off of a trilogy that tough, and a loss like that, and a knockout like that, Wilder stopping the guy in the least amount of punches landed in the heavyweight championship knockout bout, like it was spectacular, absolutely spectacular, and he hit him so fast and so hard, and he just started to display some more of the old school Wilder that we know, elusive, good footwork, small, um, sharp, and then just bam, fight over. He didn't even get a chance to fully rotate. Ratchet since '91, Cuzzo, welcome, appreciate it. Wait, no, but loaded gloves versus amnesia. Hold on, PGH big dog, it ain't over yet. Hold on. I got you, family. I got you. We ain't get the the other category yet, but yeah. Where was I? You kind of threw me off with that, bro. My bad. Uh, shit. It's cool. Yeah, but that's essentially what I got on that. Just since PGH Big Dog stated, let's go into liar of the year and robbery of the year. So robbery of the year is my thumbnail, family. Robbery of the year is my thumbnail. Amanda Serrano, who's going into an undisputed bout next year, if I'm not mistaken. Um, uh, Multi division champion. Yeah, she Oh no no no, you good. You definitely good, family, and we definitely got link up. We definitely got link up. But yeah, and I appreciate that actually because it just reminded me to stay on time. So, literally, the robbery of the year: Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor. Amanda Serrano um, landed more punches than Katie Taylor threw every round. There's no way I can land more punches on you than you were able to muster up and throw at me every round, and somehow I still lose. And you don't knock me down at all. Like, and I literally buckle your leg, shake you to the foundation in multiple rounds. But somehow, so you're saying I got the cleaner, sharper punches. You're saying I'm throwing more. I'm the ring general because I'm the aggressor. And in and just hood standards, I'm throwing more punches and landing more punches, so I'm winning, right? So you take all of those different variables and somehow say Amanda Serrano loses just because she's in Katie Taylor's hometown. Just doesn't make sense to me. Or Katie Taylor's backyard, meaning like she got a lot of. Granted, it was more of a backyard scenario for Amanda Serrano because it was in America, but she had a lot of Irish. It was almost a hometown scenario, but still, what I'm saying here is it was the biggest robbery of 2022. She won that fight. There's no way around it. And they gave it to Katie Taylor, which is the only reason why that wasn't my fight of the year, because that would have definitely been fight of the year by the action that was given to us from those girls. I still haven't seen a more action-packed fight. It don't get more violent than that. Uh, PGH Serrano was definitely robbed in Taylor fight. Serrano definitely had Taylor hurt numerous times. And thank you, bro. And even when the zone re-uploaded the fight, like uploaded it for the first time to do like the live replay type thing, everybody in the chat was saying the same thing. So for me to feel like a minority and for Kanu to feel like a minority or even Amanda to feel like she can't even like speak about it after like meeting her in person, like that's bullshit because the world knows that was a robbery and everyone's overlooking it and not even talking about it. So it's the ultimate bullshit. But that's why she's my thumbnail, because if she would have won that, she would have also won fight of the year. Not fighter, but fight of the year. Now, liar of the year. PGH Big Dog hinted at this, and that's Terrence Budrick or Terrence Anthony Budrick Crawford. It don't get no bigger of a lie than this guy. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, we sat through months and months and months and months of quote unquote, meaning heavy quote unquote negotiations, heavy asterisks by this, negotiations and talks and agreed terms to not sign the contract or um, match talks to I don't want this many fights offered to me from PBC. I just want Earl Spence. Yet he's going back and forth with Earl Spence and Charlo. Like just all of the lies after lies after lies that we got from the guy from the turnaround and fight David Adversity. From the turnaround and fight David Adversity, and then to have all of the world come to his defense with the deflection and lies about the gloves. Like now all of a sudden Everlast is one of the worst boxing uh merchandisers, like one of the worst um companies that put out boxing products. Now Everlast is bottom of the line. It's not top of the line. It was top of the line when they sponsored Bud. It was top of the line when they sponsored Wilder and sponsored all of the top names in the game. But now it's not top of the line when the gloves bust. When they have the TBC, I mean the Terrence Bud Crawford logo on them. So you're telling me they're his version of his gloves bust, and he's not responsible? It's Everlast? Really? Like, come on, man. Like, I just liar here is Terrence Crawford. Like, act like he wanted to fight Earl Spence for years and years and years, just like he act like he wanted to fight Manny Pacquiao for years and years and years, but he has no actual logical explanation on why he didn't fight Manny Pacquiao. He has no actual logical explanation on why he did not fight Earl Spence. Period. And then if he's not a liar, if you question anything I say, just let's focus on just BLK and one aspect of BLK Prime. When did you meet BLK, bud? Oh, yesterday. I just was like walking, bumped into him in the Sunoco and shit. Oh, when did you meet BLK, bud? Oh, I was in talks with him since like uh uh June. When did you meet LK? But nah, it might have been, May. Might even been before that. When did you meet BLK, bud? Is he or is he not a fucking liar? Liar of the year. Terrence Anthony Budrick Crawford. And the children of the Cornhuskers who defend his ass. A1 Hoop Zone, what's cracking with you, cuzzo? Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is the Boxing Breakdown, episode 5. I'm wrapping up. I'm literally on the last topic. You already know it's replay friendly. It's always 45 minutes or less. So let me try to keep that way by diving into this last topic. Appreciate you stopping by, though, family. So yes, Liar of the Year, Terrence Anthony Budrick Crawford. Robbery of the Year goes to, you know, Eddie Hearn and Katie Taylor team collective, all them motherfuckers for Robert and Amanda Serrano. But the last point I do want to get into is the parallel that we've seen between the lightweight division and the welterweight division. I think this is one of the most important aspects of the show. Coach 67 Sports TV, welcome. I appreciate you stopping by, family. Let me rent you up. This might be your first time stopping by, but I recognize you, family. You're a moderator now. So y'all, this is one of the parts. I'm glad we got quite a few people in the building, and I appreciate y'all tapping that like button for me too. The lightweight division and the welterweight division. Let's draw some parallels here. So on my channel, I have Yin Yang Twins Part 1 and Yin Yang Twins Part 2. And Yin Yang Twins Part 1, I believe, MP, what the fuck? What's cracking with you, cuzzo? Welcome, welcome. Appreciate you stopping by. This is Boxing and Breakfast, episode 5. Happy New Year to all of y'all. And appreciate y'all love and support. It's reciprocal and reciprocated. So Yin Yang Twins Part 1 is, I believe, the bad, and I think Yin Yang Twins Part 2 is the good. And Yin Yang Twins Part 2 draws parallels between Earl Spence and Devin Haney. And Yin Yang Twins Part 1 draws parallels between Tank Davis and Terrence Crawford. And if you don't see it with their fan base alone, you should definitely see it with activity. Accolades without names, Terrence Crawford, Tank. Um, uh, the journey to being the greatest, Devin Haney, Earl Spence. If you actually just look at it, the Yin Yang Twins Part 1, Part 2. But let's actually talk about parallels between the lightweight division because it kind of plays on that. So we got Devin Haney, lightweight division, just to set this up. Uh, Career lightweight fighter, as well as, well, not as well as, and then comes Tank. He moves up from 130. I think he started at 126, but moves up from 130 to 135 before any of the other major names that didn't start at 135. Meaning before Shakur Stevenson, before anybody else who's talking about coming into the game. And then they dropped this Shakur Stevenson bomb on us, who clearly started at 126, didn't unify anything at 126, moved to 130, did get a unification at 130, and then immediately went to 135, and it's kind of jumping in between someone who, Devin Haney, who was already chasing all of accolades and is a career 130 pounder, who is officially the man, who has all of the belts, who spent all of his time at 130 trying to fight the names. Then the name that came into the 135 was Tank Davis at the time. That's before Shakur Stevenson. Now, real quick, I laid that out for y'all. Let's look at 147. Earl Spence, career 147 pounder, started there, wrecking shit, collecting belts. Draw parallel. Devin Haney undisputed. Started there, wrecking shit, collecting belts, career 135. Same with Earl Spence. He got 3 belts. He started there, wrecking shit, collecting shit, right? In comes Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford moves up from 140, started below that, but moves up from 140, gets 1 belt from the weakest title holder. If we actually look at the title holders, even before Earl Spence, we can say what? Earl Brook, Keith Thurman, Jeff Horn. I mean, and then we can always just throw Pacquiao in there as well. So he grabs a belt from the weakest belt holder and just sits on it. Doesn't fight any of the other champions. Let Earl Spence fight all the other champions until in comes Boots Ennis. So now we got the parallel set up. We got the man, Devin Haney, Earl Spence at both divisions, and then we got the guy who moved into the division, Tank Davis and Terrence Crawford. And then we got the new guy, the upcoming guy, Shakur Stevenson and Boots Ennis, right? Both guys in the middle, Shakur Stevenson and Boots Ennis, both called out both guys equally. But both called out both guys equally. Shakur said he'll fight Devin Haney. He said he'll fight Tank Davis. Boots Ennis said he'll fight Bud Crawford, and he said he'll fight Earl Spence. But for some reason, we got the Children of the Cornhuskers and the Tank Protection Committee that use in both of these divisions the deflection tactic of, well, he's calling that Boots should fight Earl Spence, even though Boots is calling out Earl Spence and Bud. They never mention Bud and Boots, even though he is B&B Promotions. They never mention the two B's together. They never say Bud and Boots. Just like the actual Tank fans never really say Shakur and Tank. The only time I hear Shakur and Tank is with mad respect on it. You got Calvin Ford saying, the only person I can give respect to is the little shawty Shakur, because he know him, and I know him, and he know us. But I don't understand why he be getting tough. But I respect shawty skills. But I feel like it's us being them trying to like throw the banana in the tailpipe, or them literally trying to put something in the way of the actual fight that we want, which is between the best fight and the best, or the two guys in the division. And the two guys in the division before these new guys got introduced to the division was who? Devin Haney versus Tank Davis, and Earl Spence versus Bud Crawford. Now let's be honest, before Bud Crawford it was Keith Thurman. But then Manny Pacquiao and, Bud, they kept making their way into the conversations. But we got Bud Crawford and Earl Spence. Let's keep the focus on those guys. And Devin Haney and Tank Davis. Now, if we want those other guys to fight these guys, now granted, I'm Team Boots. I'm Team Spence, but I'm Team Boots more than anything. I'm from Pittsburgh, PA. I'm closer to Philly than I am any other area in this country. You know what I mean? Like, I'm PA. But my only issue with E is it's holding up the division. Him even giving faith in a guy who's a con man. And I come from the streets. Like, conning was my thing. Like, I get it. You know what I'm saying? But it's disgusting when you see this shit on a major level and you see two black men supposed to be doing honorable business amongst each other, and the nigga still conning motherfuckers to this day, and you act like you ain't, like, this ain't honorable business. Like, it's one thing to do that with bottom. It's one thing to do that at the level when everybody's mishandling you. But this is between Al Heyman, Earl Spence, and yes from Bomac. And somehow you still find a way to sneak out the back door on some fuck shit. I just don't get niggas. I'll never get motherfuckers like that. So, but I'm sorry, y'all. I did kind of run on a little bit of a tangent, but I'm drawing a parallel between 135 and 147. The man at 147 is Earl Spence Jr. The man at 135 is Devin Haney. And they went the hard way to do that, right? And then there were some names with backing and publicity that have been unnecessary, be it Tank with Floyd Mayweather or his division hopping and knocking out smaller guys and unknown name guys, and then Bud Crawford with having a whole bunch of accolades with no real names on the list. You feel me? And them coming into the divisions of these guys, but always having a reason to not fight those guys. Tank, well, we ain't gonna pay that guy, or we don't want to give him no attention. It's everything but let's get in the ring. Bud Crawford, I got to fight this year, or I ain't gonna fight him coming just off the car accident, or 60-40 my way. Every reason, everything in the book, but fight. Look at the parallels between lightweight division and 147, and let's hope that this doesn't continue into too deep into 2023, because I would like to see the next generation of the welterweight divisions mix it up. I mean, the welterweight division and the upcoming lightweight division mix it up as well. 154 is going to look a lot crazier, and we know, all of us know, that little buddy ain't getting nothing smacking, ain't getting nothing cracking at 154. Everybody will step on a nigga up there. Um, but that said, I love y'all. I appreciate all of y'all support. Appreciate all of y'all stopping by. LDBC or nothing. LDBC only. LDBC versus everybody. LDBC everywhere. You successfully reached in your combat tool bag one more again. Y'all could expect me, and I will be on my shit this year. So y'all could expect me Tuesdays and Saturdays. I'll be there for the boxing prelims or around prelim-ish time. But expect me Saturdays and expect me Tuesdays around 8-ish, But again, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all spending the New Year's Eve with me, and I appreciate y'all fucking with me this year and getting to know me this year, and I'm going to support y'all. I'm going to love y'all the exact same way. So thank you again for stopping by, and let's all evolve and have a hell of a New Year 2023. Yeah, I had to say it like Floyd Mayweather. Have a hell of a New Year. Let's have a hell of a New Year. Cause he's a hell of a fighter. But nah, yeah, again, yo, I love y'all. Take it easy. Again, y'all, there are 3 ways to support the channel. Way number one, shop usualsuspect6.com. Get you some combat tool bag merch. Way number two, on Amazon.com, I have an entry level financial literacy series called the Hustle God series. You can find Hustle God, language of 1%, the linguistics of money, Hustle God, Masterpiece, Daily Gold in Mind Molding, Hustle God, Afro Gold Part 1, and Hustle God, Art of the Hustle. And the third final way to support the channel is diving into the Cash App. You can sponsor athlete creator um, by donating anything, anytime. It all goes a long way. Money sign Hustle God Inc. The cash tag is money sign Hustle God Inc. Again, I love y'all. Expect me here on this platform Tuesdays and Saturdays, and I'll be dropping shorts, just sporadically and shit. I'm in my bag this year, and y'all should be in y'all bag daily. This is Combat Tool Bag. Love you. Deuces.